Hey, do you want a coffee or a water or anything?
No, I'm great.
You sure?
Yeah.
I have a coffee my assistant is supposed to bring. Oh, hold on.
You okay?
Yeah.
You seem flustered.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have my coffee. I just feel like I need a little caffeine.
Yeah,
I'm good. We'll get started in a sec.
Take your
I want
time.
to make sure everything is. Thank
Coffee.
you. Yeah. Are these on?
Hold on.
Here, will you sit here for a second? Hey, Bob.
Take him downstairs if you want.
No, we're gonna keep him.
You want him to stay up here?
Yeah, talking to this. Is that going? And try the other one.
Hello, hello.
All right. Good. All right.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'll see you after the thing.
Okay. You
All
want
right.
him to stay here?
Yes. Thank you. Are we rolling? I want to get started. Let's kind of check the framing of him. Start wider, and then I'll give you direction. Go in, and you're gonna have to, I think, bring it down too. You can't just push in. Yeah. Go a little bit more. Great. He's on the right, so let's bring him a little right of center. That's perfect. Brilliant. Hey, buddy.
Lovely.
How you doing?
I'm great. I'm even better now that you brought your dog.
Did I ask you to bring your dog?
You did not. I would have brought my dog.
I messaged you. I think I said, what kind of dog do you have?
And I ignored it. That's what happened.
Yeah, why?
I don't know why that happened because I would never ignore your texts. And yet, that's what I've done. Those are mine.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You want to put them here?
No, it's fine.
Since we haven't gotten into it yet, I wonder how, if I went to go pee, if you would feel, or would you even feel comfortable telling me the truth if you would feel disrespected? That like it's a lot going on. We were supposed to start a few minutes ago, because I could hold the pee.
I would love if you held the pee.
I'll wait. Or if you have to go, maybe you'll let me know and we could all go together.
I peed before. I got here before you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to be punctual.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I walked in at 1:31, 1 minute late, and you weren't here. So
Right.
technically, you were late.
I had the key to the bathroom.
But if you had to go, by that logic, you would have gotten here to where you were done with the bathroom by 1:30.
Yes, but now you're showing up and you want to go to the bathroom after we've already begun.
But what I'm saying is, I don't mind that you were a little late.
Right.
Do you mind if I am?
No, I don't mind that you were.
I'm just going to go to the bathroom.
So, see, now I think these are two different things here. We've already begun. We didn't have to begun.
This is something I'm doing as I'm getting older. I'm almost 30 now.
Right.
You're right. That makes sense.
How old are you?
28.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Do I have my... I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of look like you. Can I see my camera? Oh, I look like you more. I think maybe here. Hold on.
I don't think that looks like me at
That's
all.
what it looked like when you told me to wait to go to the bathroom. That's
Did
how
I
you
say
looked.
wait? I don't know that I said wait.
You said you'd rather wait.
I said we already started.
Before that, I said, can I go to the bathroom? You said, I'd rather you wait.
Right. Did I say that?
Swipe back to it. I'd rather you wait. I have to pee, and then I'm ready to go.
Go.
If there's anything you want to plug while I'm in the bathroom.
No. Are you going to go here or are you going to go in the bathroom?
Oh.
Is that an option?
Yeah, can I just go to the bathroom? It's going to take longer.
Just go right there. See, now that is not what I was expecting at all. That was different. Okay. All right. That's good.
Alvin, isn't Rick performing in Los Angeles this month?
Yeah, he's doing a live Take Your Shoes Off in Los Angeles, April 5th.
Where else is he going to be in Los Angeles?
On April 14th, he's doing stand-up at the Hollywood Improv for Rick Glassman and Friends.
Oh, those are always good shows.
Go.
I see. If you can't be to that April 5th live podcast, you can
Live stream it. That's right.
stream it. Are there any more dates before we head into summer? Ricky on the Loose, April 11 and 12, Sacramento. April 25 and April 26, we decided to go all the way across the country and go to Portland, Maine, which is a beautiful city, especially at this time of year. And then on May 15th, we're coming back to Techland and we'll be in San Jose.
Ticket link in the description or go to punchup.live/Rick Glassman for tickets for all these shows.
Do it.
This episode is sponsored by Robinhood. Robinhood
Gold
gets
you
a
3%
boost
on
annual
IRA.
contributions.
The
New
gold
standard
is
here.
sign
Up
at
Robinhood.com/gold.
investing
Involves
risk
3%.
match
Requires
Robinhood
gold
at $5 per month for 1 year.
from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years.
Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial, LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC.
Okay, come.
Your dog missed you.
What was he doing?
Just whining. Like a cute way.
And Frank couldn't be here.
No. This child has the flu. Is that true? We don't know.
Because I've never spoken to Frank.
You've never talked to Frank.
I don't know anything of Frank other than from your stuff,
And
from what you post.
what do you know because of that?
I know that I know less about Frank and more about your dynamic with Frank.
Got it.
The Basement Yard Podcast. Let's not bury the lead.
Yeah.
Welcome, Joe Santagato from the Basement Yard Podcast.
And you got it on the first try.
A lot of people. What do people? How do you pronounce it?
Santagato.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because of the Italian. I
That,
put a
you know,
little
yeah,
Italian
that.
on it.
Can I ask you a question? Someone's texting you, right? And you don't remember the number. How do you get their name?
Could you give me? I don't understand the situation yet.
You like, someone from your past is like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you about how you doing.
Got it.
And it's a number that you've never seen before. And you're like,
I'll ask.
fuck, I don't. Okay.
Just like that.
But what if you don't want to ask? Because you're like, oh, shit, I should.
Do I want the answer?
Of course.
And I'm being serious. Then why don't I want to ask? Like what's the?
Because you're like, oh, they're going to feel bad that I didn't save their number.
I don't feel responsible for their feelings in that way.
I love that.
I mean it.
I believe you.
A friend of mine, Amir, shout out to Amir, has a joke where he talk about he slept with a woman or something with a woman, and if he doesn't remember their name, he just takes them to Starbucks the next day because then they'll put it on the cup.
I like that.
Yeah, but he was young, I'm sure. At this point, if you don't know a woman's name or a man's for that matter,
Yeah.
maybe get to know them a little bit more before you have such an intimate connection with them.
I would say that as well. Makes it more magical.
Have you podcasted in this room before?
I have.
Where did you sit when you did it?
There, and I've sat here.
I've never sat there.
Do you want to?
I'm just curious.
You want to know what it feels like?
I am curious.
It is nice. Which is your good side?
I don't know.
Turn this way. It's not bad. Turn the other way. That one's bad.
So then we should switch.
Yeah, because that's your good side. What about me? All right, no, you're supposed to look at me.
Got it.
You're supposed to look at me.
I was looking at the monitor. My apologies.
Oh, okay. I thought you were purposely not looking at me because you didn't want to play.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
That one is your...
Straight on, right?
Well, yes, that's preferred.
Okay.
But that side.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Comment what side... Yeah, I want to switch. I want to see how it feels.
Yeah, get over here.
I'm normally on that... I'm normally on the right side when I'm at home.
You want to sit on this side?
But every time I do something like here, I'm on this side. I just
Right.
want to feel I feel like the guest.
All right.
You want something cool? He knows this. Watch this. Alvin, excuse me.
Love that.
Right?
Do you want to just sit on my lap?
I can. I mean,
Okay.
I just want to vibe it out.
I think the dog thinks I'm you.
Oh, because you're sitting there in the mustache?
Yeah. Well, you're not wearing the mustache anymore.
Your clips are incredible.
Now I can't tell if you're being nice.
Incredible. I I don't watch many podcasts. I do watch a lot of podcast clips.
Me too.
Love a clip.
I don't think I've ever watched a podcast, to be honest with you.
I have, but I get it.
Yeah.
Your clips consistently. You know what they say? You know Harry Mack?
Yes.
You never skip a Harry Mack clip, is what they say.
Who says that?
It's in the comments all the time. It's really a thing.
Oh.
Like I've even talked, like who started that? Never skip a Harry Mack video. Something like that.
Guy's great.
Because you know he's going to find some magic in it. He posted it. I have that confidence in your clips. When one of your clips comes up in my thing, I'm like, I'm sure it's going to be worth watching.
Really?
Yeah. I have never seen your podcast.
I think that's most people's experience with the podcast.
Sure.
They're like, well, obviously you have people who are like actual fans of the show.
Sure.
But someone had made a TikTok one time that I saw, and it was a clip, and it said, "This is the funniest podcast that I'll never watch." And I was like, I'll take that.
Sure.
I'll take that.
You know what? I didn't check this. Did you check that the framing is still good? We're on the same height. I think you can bring mine up a little and his down a little. Do you mind while we're talking? Thank you. I was going to watch your podcast. I'm like, oh, we're podcasting, and I have to watch at least an episode. And I was going to do it this morning. And then when you're like, hey, Frank, I come, I'm like, all right, it's just one guy now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't need the podcast now.
And I have one more request. Do you think we could bring the room cam back the slightest bit so the back of the chair isn't taken off? Thanks. I was thinking about doing a podcast where it's like the calmest prank show, where when guests I do this, but it's for as long as I could possibly go until they
I'll just keep
yeah
changing shit.
yeah until they.
I'll be honest with you. I would have sat here forever.
Sure.
I probably would have sat here forever.
Because I do it very calmingly. Agreed?
You do, and it just seems like there's so much conviction in everything that you're saying. So it's like, okay, this is just...
Isn't that interesting? When somebody has intention behind what they're saying, it really, at least subconsciously, it exudes confidence.
Crazily. You could probably talk your way into anything.
You know, I did get my hotel room upgraded to a suite.
Because of what?
According to her or according to me? Because she told me to why, but I don't know if she was lying.
What'd she say?
She said, you're very charming.
So she's just going to upgrade?
Well, I asked first.
Oh, okay.
And she goes, you're very charming. I normally charge for this. I said, thank you.
Wow. And you said it just like that. Look at that. That slow blink. You almost got me to upgrade your room.
Thank you.
Good for you. You're one of those guys.
I ask for stuff. I do.
You ask for
I'm
stuff.
an asker.
Right. See, I'm not. Like, you just now, what I was asking you about someone texting you, and then you're like, how do you get their phone number? You're like, I just asked them. I feel bad. So if I'm at a restaurant...
How do you get your name, you're saying?
What?
You said how do you get your phone number. You're talking about if you have their phone number, but you don't know their name.
Right.
Same page. Got it. Okay.
And you're just like, I'll just ask them. So for me, I'm not like that because I feel bad, I guess. I don't know why. At a restaurant, if they bring the food over, if it's wrong, I may just have it. Just say it. Say it. Say what you want to say. Say
Sure.
it.
It seems like you eat a lot of food.
You think I'm a bitch, don't you?
No.
Okay.
No. I am very judgmental, but I feel like my judgments are more deductions and I'm usually right, as opposed to this is how I feel.
You have no feelings. You're just right.
I'm saying when it comes to something like outside of me, like, are you a bitch? I don't have that information, so
Right.
I'm not going to have an opinion on that. I could just deduce, well, it sounds like you you have a fear of upsetting people. You feel uncomfortable if you have wronged somebody or if somebody doesn't like you. It sounds more like that. I wouldn't call that being a bitch. Just you haven't fully accepted yourself yet. How old are you? 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. When
22.
When you get closer, like I said, I'm almost 30.
You're 28.
And this year I've started to be like, oh, I love who I am. And if you don't,
just got there. You just started loving, or you always loved?
I've loved for a while.
That's beautiful.
I've loved who I am for a while.
You in therapy?
Off and on. I was in it for a lot. You know, you go in every now and then when you need it. You go a couple months again. But the tools I've learned from therapy and the checking in with myself and my intention and why I feel and how I feel is still a daily practice.
You want to know something funny? When I first saw clips of you, I was like, this dude is very funny. I need to follow him, whatever. And then I started following you. And then in your Instagram story, you like to repost stuff that's very wholesome and heartfelt. But I didn't know you. So I was like, is this guy a fucking asshole? Because
like I'm making fun of
like you
veterans
like,
coming home and surprising their kids.
it would be something like that, or it would be someone who has some sort of disability, and they would be like wholesome. You'd be like, we need more of this in the world. I'm like, is this guy being an asshole? Like I didn't know like what the deal was, but then it would happen so often. I was like, oh, he's just a really sweet guy. Like, but I for a second I was like, why is he doing that? Like that's so fucked up.
I repost stuff that gives me an emotional reaction. If it's a laugh, if it's like a cry,
You
whatever
cry a
it
lot?
is. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah?
I like to go down like once I get going a little bit, I really like to pour it on, and I'll just continue watching. I'll go out of my way.
It's like extending an orgasm.
It's exactly like that, but it's like whatever the opposite of edging is, because it's like I just want to be coming/crying for maybe 40 minutes, 40 to 42 minutes.
Well, man, you're following the right guy.
Is that you?
All I do is make women cry and come.
Right.
Not necessarily in that order.
But definitely in the same room.
You know, I don't even want to make that joke.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I don't even want to make that joke. Oh, I wasn't thinking about...
Okay, what are we talking about
I
now?
was even thinking about like just... You're talking about like...
I was thinking about orgasming so
forcefully-
hard that you cry in a good way. I was not thinking
Have you done that?
negative. Have I cried?
From an orgasm?
No, I haven't. I don't think.
Are you? I don't know. Are you in a relationship?
I am.
Are you married?
No,
Is it a woman?
it is.
I think you're the wrong woman.
I think I'm in the wrong woman.
I think you're with the wrong woman.
So I should be crying.
If you're a crier and you're not crying during sex, you might be a redneck. Are you a redneck?
I'm not. Where did you grow up?
Cleveland.
Ooh, I don't
Boy,
really
are
know
my
what that's
arms
like.
tired. What's that?
I don't even. What is Cleveland like? Is it hick-ish? Is that a slur?
I think so, but I think it's okay.
Because it's white people.
Yeah, I think trailer trash is actually bad now
Who's okay?
because I think that they're like trailer trash is like generalizing those that live in trailers as trash. But you could have trailer trash that don't live in trailers, and you could live in a trailer that isn't trailer trash. But I don't think that they think of it that way.
I think trailers are kind of cool. You know, like your house is on wheels. I don't know about like a whole park filled with them. That kind of it loses its allure to me.
But that's a community.
Right. I don't like that. I'd rather they just be like one over here, one over there.
Yeah, but even having an opinion on it, that's like you having an opinion on what black women should do with their breasts. It's
I
not
think
for you to
that's a little
say.
different than that.
Are you part of the trailer community? Why are you telling them how to live?
I've been in one. How does that?
A black woman with big breasts?
Have
you never been with a black woman with big breasts?
I don't know about the well, big is subjective.
How many black women have you had sex with?
Just one.
And how are her breasts?
Fantastic.
You have to say that, don't you?
You do.
This world is so fucking divided.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I just brought it together. That's how you end racism right there.
How many white women have you had sex with? Do you know the answer?
I do not.
Is it because you've lost count or you
It's
don't feel
just not
comfortable?
something I pay attention to.
Interesting that you don't pay attention to the white women, but you do pay attention to the black women.
Well, it's easier to count.
Okay. What about Frank?
That I don't know.
You guys best friends?
Yes. But we don't text each other like, hey, man, just got another one.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever asked anyone that question before, but I think it is like...
Like growing up, like your boys being like, yo, how many people have you had sex with or something?
No, I didn't have to start having sex until I was pretty old. So I wasn't part of that cool guy group.
28?
No, 17. Almost 18.
Right.
Which I guess isn't that young, but that was also when I had my first kiss.
You had your first kiss the first time you had sex?
And that old. Yeah. The first time my first kiss was April 21st, and my first sex was June 8th, the same year.
Big year.
Switch seats?
Yep.
Oh, then we have to switch the thing again.
We could just stay also if
Maybe
you want.
we'll switch once again later.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a big year. And
Okay.
in February, I played basketball against LeBron James.
I heard that about you, that you've played LeBron before.
And then,
Hold on one second. My phone just keeps
Sure.
ringing, and I just want to make sure that it's not like an emergency.
every 2 months, I went from LeBron to my first kiss to my first sex.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just put it right here.
That'll be great.
Okay. So the same year, first kiss, sex, LeBron James.
Yes, not in that order.
Different people, obviously. Was the kiss the sex?
The kiss was the sex.
But it wasn't LeBron James.
No.
Got it.
No. My first kiss was her first kiss.
Nice.
And we had our first sex, our first blowjob.
And you were 17. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got everything. You knocked everything out.
Yeah. And we once we started kissing, you remember what it was like when you were 17?
Yeah, I do.
It's 5 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Good math. You're good at that too.
Yeah. Name any two numbers.
8 and 9.
Heard of them.
I like you because you're silly.
Gulp,
Thank
gulp,
you.
Gulp, gulp.
What I told
Because I know you're smart, right? Especially now they know you're a little autistic.
I'm so smart. Name any two numbers.
7 and 36.
Heard of them. So
Wow.
and we're back.
Even I've seen that clip.
So you have a big podcast. I wonder how many people that watch my podcast are also familiar with yours, because it feels like we're part of a different group.
I would say that too. I honestly, when you just said you're part of a big podcast, I don't even know if that's true.
You
Like,
just
I
came
can
back
see.
from London and you sold out.
I haven't gone yet.
Oh, and they're already
Unless
sold
this
out.
has gone out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're selling out theaters
Yeah.
around the world. That's a big podcast.
It's a big, yeah. But I'm saying, like, in the mainstream feel of it, I think there's a lot of people that be like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why do you
That's
think
it.
they're so angry for not knowing who you are?
Who's angry?
Well, the guy that goes, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, no,
There's a
I was
bit of
doing that.
contempt.
It was just, I added too much emotion behind that. But
Do you think that you have a big podcast?
yeah, I think it's big. I just think that you're more recognizable than I would be.
Well, I have glasses. I have a Jewish face.
Right. The pants.
The pants. Do you talk about money publicly? Do you feel comfortable talking?
It depends what you're asking.
Yeah. When did you start your podcast?
2015?
When did it go from, if you're at a level 2 now, level 0 started, level 1 is, wow, look at us, we're moving along, level 2 is now. And there's more levels, and you could break that up into more numbers, but just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
When you started in 2016, when was level 1 and what did that feel like to you? Did that question make sense?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wow, we got something here.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing like YouTube videos for a while.
Right.
And that was good, and it was like my main source of income. And then I was doing the podcast on the side because it wasn't really popular. But I was like, if I can make like an extra $1,000 a month, that would be awesome from doing this podcasting thing. And
what's up with YouTube? I just was with Are You Garbage Boys, and they talked about you. I told them that we were podcasting, and he's like, yeah, you started off doing YouTube stuff, which I did not know. And
Yeah.
like, you've been really good at the online world.
Right.
So what are the YouTube videos that you're doing?
they were just like commentary, like comedy videos.
Solo
I guess.
podcast in clip
Essentially, yeah, in clip form.
Was
So
it
it was
just you?
very jump cutty. It wasn't like a podcast where it's kind of just free flowing.
Was it just you?
It was just me. And then even when I started the podcast, sometimes it was just me, but sometimes I would have like one of my random friends on. And then I used to have a different co-host at one point, Danny Lopriori, who was also a comedian. But when he was on, that's what I say level one sort of happened, right? So we did a couple of episodes together, and I thought that was going really well. And then I was like, okay, we need to start recording it and putting the whole episode out on YouTube. Again, this was before this was such common practice where you're just putting podcasts out.
That's so interesting.
So once I did that, and there was like ways to like post on Instagram and wherever else with like clips of the podcast, that's when it sort of reached that next level.
And what year was that?
That was probably like 2018.
What kind of money is a podcast making in 2018 when it's at that level?
6 figures for sure. Not $1 million.
Right.
But it was doing really well. There wasn't that much money in it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that now advertisers put way more money into podcasts than ever.
Because of the success of MeUndies?
That's why, right? And BetterHelp, or whoever else.
You know you could get 10% off if you go to betterhelp.com/TYSO for your first month.
Could I?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I the show was like doing well at that time, but I was also doing like the YouTube thing
You done
as
with
well.
that?
No, I was still doing. Yeah,
Now.
I didn't do it for like 4 years. I like let it go and was focusing on podcasting. But I brought
Like
it back.
Kristen Bell in that Frozen movie.
Is that her?
I know she's in it. I don't know if she's the one that sings "Let It Go." But yeah,
I thought that was. Is that her?
it's a
I know
Dina
that
Menzel or Kristen Bell.
I think it's a Dana.
I had kind of had Josh Gad on this podcast in this room. Actually.
What does kind of mean?
Welcome back to another episode of Take Your Shoes Off. My name is Rick Glassman, and today our special guest is Bobby Aloff. Am I saying that right?
Sure.
That's like the snowman from Frozen?
You're very funny.
Thank you.
So,
Got it.
how much do you make now, dude?
So much.
Is it? Is it? Because you have to split it.
Yes.
Are you guys 50-50?
No.
Because you started it.
Right. But also there's a lot of other things as well. Like I employ
producing
everyone
it?
who like does it. It's not like outsourced. It's
So he's
like,
just talent.
right.
He shows up. He does a great job.
Right.
You belittle the shit out of him. You're mean as fuck. You're so
I
mean.
feel like
That's
that's
your
reversed.
thing. You're so mean to him. Those are the clips. I don't watch the long form, so maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, I think so.
But he's talking about some Pop-Tarts, and you're like, you fucking you miserable fucking and I'm like, bro, are you even Jewish? Could you say that?
Let the record show that Rick Glassman is Jewish.
Edit all this out.
Yes, so he just shows up, he's talent, pops in, boom, pops out, and then
So he's replaceable.
I wouldn't say that. How can you replace 30 years of friendship? 22.
I'm confused now. How
About
old
which
are you?
part?
Gulp, 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 gulp.
That was a big sip.
Yeah, it was a lot to swallow. Gotcha.
That was great.
Thanks. You've been friends since you were little boys?
Little boys, yeah. That's when we met. Little
Mm-hmm.
boys. Our sisters were friends. Our mothers had the same birthday.
June?
Close.
Thank you. Well, I know it's not July.
It can't be.
No, so it's May.
Right.
I know you wouldn't say close if it was the front half of May, just because it's a close month.
I know.
So it's actually the back half of May.
True.
You would say basically if it was the last couple days of May. So we're looking between the 21st and the 28th. Am I right?
No.
Roughly, it's the 20th.
Right. No, it's the 18th, like you were saying.
Yeah. I'm saying the 20th would be like, if their birthday was on a Wednesday, you'd wait till the 20th so you could do it on the
Exactly.
weekend.
So you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
wait until.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
How is your mom?
She's great.
You
She
buying
asks
a lot of
about you all
stuff
the
for her?
time. What?
You buying a lot of stuff for her now?
I buy a ton of stuff for her, yeah.
Do you make jokes about how now you're spending all the money on her?
No.
Huh.
No, I don't. My mom is actually very, like, you know,
I can
content
imagine.
with whatever.
Oh,
She, like, lives in the. Don't even. What were you going to say?
I thought you were just say lovely, but you said content.
Oh, no, she's lovely as well. She's a saint.
Which one?
Francis.
Your mother is Saint Francis?
She loves animals.
Would you look up what year Saint Francis was, what day Saint Francis was born, please?
If that ends up being the same day.
There's multiple Saint Francises, maybe.
Franci.
1181. She was born November in 81st. The dates were different then.
November of 1981?
No, 1181. Maybe it was 118. 1181.
1181 in the morning.
Well, what does that mean? She was born in 1981? Saint
Did
Francis?
they have months back then? I don't even.
Oh, 1181 is just the year.
Yeah. I thought you were on board with that one.
No. Oh, I knew it wasn't April 81st.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, November 81st.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man, that here we are now. You know,
I know. Who would've
1181, they were doing stuff.
They were doing things.
We're not thinking about what's going on, 1,000 years from now.
I think about that.
What do you think about?
Well, 1,000 years from now. No, I think in the past. The future, who cares? I don't, I'm worried about that asteroid that's coming.
Really?
Kind of. The percentage keeps going up.
Dude, we'll be able to take care of it.
Says who?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't want to make a joke about Bruce Willis, but I will say if he can't do it.
Ben Affleck can. He was on the ship.
Yeah, and I think about that movie often when when he has the animal crackers going over Liv Tyler's boobs.
Yes.
And he goes, oh, there's also the apple peaks or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes, do you think anybody else in the world's doing this right now?
I do.
And he goes, I hope so. Otherwise, what kind of world are we trying to save?
Dude, see, we're going back to you having so much conviction. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
This movie is worse than I thought.
You got like a little animal cracker Discovery Channel thing.
Watch the gazelle as he grazes through the open plains.
Do you think it's possible that anyone else in the world is doing this very same thing at this very same moment?
I hope so. Otherwise, what the hell are we trying to say?
No, it's beautiful. And also, I know you saw that really quickly. You could go back and press pause. I don't want you to miss a thing.
You're great. You're fantastic. And I love that song.
I could stay. I can't. I don't have it.
I know.
I'm not good at it.
If there was some honey in there, you could hit it probably.
Oh, well.
It's a singer thing. I'm a singer as well.
Are you really a singer?
I was in the choir growing up.
Could I hear you sing a little of that? We have music on this podcast a lot. My audience loves music.
It's expensive. I will say you an invoice though.
Fine. Could you do it? Just could you do it? Like I know I'm at, but you put really.
What do you want to hear?
I don't want to sing.
Which part?
Whatever you got. I could stay.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. It's pretty good. I can't. I
can't tell if you're good or not. I know that was
see, like,
silly.
but at the end, there's like promise in it. You know what I mean?
I would argue that you could probably take voice lessons and be good enough to be on Broadway if you had the charisma. But
Right.
it wouldn't be like we got to listen to this song on a CD.
On CD it wouldn't be 20 years ago. I do think I'm good enough to get someone to spin around on the voice because with some coaching, I could probably take that next step. I think I have the eyes for it.
What do you mean?
I could just have like you know,
Like you emote?
like look at me. You know, like my eyes. I could like tell a story with them.
Sing it again. Let me look at your eyes.
Okay. I could stay awake just to hear you breathe. See, I'm not good at falsetto. I'm more of like a baritone.
Start
I'm like
lower. I could
stay awake.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing.
And we're gonna work on that. With my help, you could be the best, but I have to get help first. Then you'll be the best. After I get the help that I need to help you.
Right. You're a competitive guy. That's why you treat Frank the way you do.
Right.
This episode is sponsored by Robinhood. With
Robinhood
Gold,
you
can
now
enjoy
the
VIP
treatment,
receiving
a
3%
IRA
match
on
retirement
contributions.
The
privileges
of
the
very
privileged
are
no
longer
exclusive.
with
Robinhood
Gold.
Your
Annual
IRA
contributions
are boosted
by
3%.
plus
You
also
get
4%
APY
on
your
cash
in
non-retirement accounts.
That's over 8 times the national savings average.
The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard
is here with Robinhood Gold.
To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions,
sign up at Robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk.
Rate subject to change.
3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 per month for 1 year from first match.
Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years.
Go to Robinhood.com/boost.
Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from FDIC as of November 18, 2024.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
That's exactly it.
You played sport?
I did.
And what did you do?
Basketball, football. I'm not going to go back and forth with this thing. I know you're good at basketball.
I'm just wondering where this competitiveness comes from. Did you feel good at those sports?
I did, but I never played at like a high level. I was like really good when I was younger, but I never like not a good practicer, if that makes sense. Never really tried, to be honest. And it's one of my biggest regrets in life.
That's why you're competitive now.
Right.
I was looking to find what is it that you need to grab that thing. And it's because...
you like to therapize people, don't you?
It's more so that I'm just...
Do you think you're the smartest guy who's ever lived? Is that what it is?
Not at all.
Top 10?
Buddy, I can't even spell top 10.
Spell top 10. Try.
TOPTEN.
See, you didn't even try and you nailed it.
Really? Because it sounded like I did it as one word.
That's pretty smart. That's a good point. You didn't space. I was testing you and you passed. Good job.
Seems like you weren't testing me and you were the one who spaced.
Fuck.
So you're a competitive control freak who loves his mom. What's your relationship like with your dad? Your dad's gay, or your dad gay? Is your dad alive?
My dad is alive.
Is he gay?
That's a great question.
Because you make a lot of like either gay or homophobic commentary.
I make homophobic jokes?
Yeah.
About who?
You did that clip where Frank was talking about having a stomach ache, and you're like, oh, I love, or I hate that guys fuck each other in the butt because it probably gives them stomach aches, and I hate that guys do that. Something like that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So sometimes I'll make jokes and I'll know during the joke. I'm being real now. I'll know during the joke I'm not going to land this, and I used to dig myself. And then sometimes you do find water. You keep digging, but I have gotten to a point where it's like I don't want to say I'm totally okay with missing because I'm not, but I recognize that's not. I was setting up a game. I didn't find it. I was playing with you. We weren't there. And then I was just like, oh, I guess the game is just lie about some homophobic thing that he said. And it wasn't worth it. And I just think that's an interesting part of life is doing bits with someone and you connect. But what about those moments where you don't connect?
It happens.
I want to be able to be like, oh.
Yeah. Did we just not do that?
I did.
Right.
Why have you been leaning into all the things that you've been doing?
What am I leaning into? This is who I am as a person.
What kind of saint is your mom?
What kind of saint? Mm-hmm. Holy? I don't know how to answer that.
You were making me believe your mom's not Saint Francis.
My mom's not Saint Francis.
Thank you.
Cat's out of the bag.
Thank you.
She's not Saint Francis. She's Elizabeth.
Really?
She's Irish.
Yes. And your dad is?
Peruvian.
What does that mean?
That I made up.
Okay.
He's Italian.
Got it. Your dad and your mom, they're still together?
Wrong.
You don't
See,
buy your
you're doing the
stuff.
therapy thing again.
You don't
now
buy your
you're
dad's
making
stuff.
some calls about me, aren't you?
Is it because you're homophobic? I'm sorry. I forgot that we established that wasn't true.
Yeah, we weren't going to use that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're keeping it in, though. I keep in a lot of the mistakes.
Right. I assume. What was the question?
What's going on with your dad?
He's in North Carolina.
Why aren't you buying him stuff?
I did buy him stuff. You know, I accidentally bought him the same mug for Father's Day 2 years in a row, so now I just send it to him every single year.
That's good. My uncle once gave me a gift. He gave me some lottery tickets for something, and it was in a card, but he didn't write anything on the card. The card was just a card. And I used that card the next year to give my grandma a gift, and the gift was the card, and I wrote, "This card's from Uncle Bob."
This card what?
From Uncle Bob, my Uncle Bob. And it just made me think of that.
Yeah.
It becomes a joke.
You just keep passing it along.
So you get your dad, what is it, world's #1 dad?
No, it said something like, I'm happy Father's Day. I have like the best looking children or something like that.
Funny.
Amazon, baby. Typed in Father's Day mug. Boom. It was like the third one. Send it.
And what do you get for Mother's Day?
Flowers, usually. Maybe I'll go over there and have a brunch. She lives in Queens.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, she is one.
She's a saint, too.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth.
R.I.P. Or not? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think all the
Are
queens.
you a fan of the Queen?
You know, I like her older stuff.
Do you?
Yeah. Her coronation, I believe, was in 1954, and it was around the time of like right before like Beatles mania. What'd you just eat? Oh, that's a noise I make if I eat something good. Yeah, and there was just a different time that like I look back at that time and I'm like, that it seems like an interesting time to live in because you have Beatles mania and then you have the free love movement where everyone's just
doing it
like in Forrest Gump.
Right.
And then you have the 80s. We're talking punk rock, the movie where the kids are walking on the train track and he goes, "Did I do that?" You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The movies where there's the guy, "Hello, I'm a guy."
Yeah.
He has a weird eye. Goonies.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
You have that. Then the 90s. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Seinfeld. Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step, Sister, 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 Marcus Houston, Omarion, Step Up. That's when I got Step Up, Step Up, Take It to the Streets, where I got the DVD to learn the dance moves. Now we're talking the aughts.
Right.
And then what? Then I guess Bitcoin comes out, but we have the housing crisis.
That wasn't good.
Obama made some change. Coinstar took some change.
They always do.
Trump.
Say it.
It's just such a train wreck.
You okay?
It's just a train wreck what's happening right now.
Train wreck. That came out in the early 2000s, I think, as well. Amy Schumer, John Cena.
Yeah, I auditioned for that with Amy Schumer and Judd Apatow.
How'd
And they
that
went
go?
to John Cena. I'm like, why did you even bring me?
Yeah, different guys.
That's why like if you grew up around the 50s.
You grew up in the 50s.
I'm saying you look back at the time, it's like every decade you get something awesome. Mm-hmm. But also there's a lot of bad stuff too.
In the 50s, I would say, yeah. And also Queen Elizabeth, I'm pretty sure her old stuff is probably not.
Will you check when was Queen Elizabeth, when was the Queen Elizabeth coronation?
Wasn't she also just the queen for like ever? She was the queen at like 14
17.
or something.
Yeah, so it might have been before it might have been in the 30s then.
She had to have been 90 something.
53, I said 54.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you.
That was a great guess. Was it a guess or was it an educated one?
It was educated because I did a video called Ricky Takes London.
Think of a British politician. You've probably seen him in there drinking a cup of tea, perhaps. Except if it's Boris Johnson. He's so foolish, he probably spills his tea on his lap and burns his dick. Could you say dick here? Well, that's London. Make sure to come along with me next week when we visit Toronto.
Where I went around London and I told the history of stuff, but we could bleep this.
Got it.
It's all real. And I feel like I probably learned some stuff along the way.
Well, I'm going to London soon for the first time I've never been. Is there anything that I should know before going?
Don't feel corny saying cheers instead of thank you.
Oh, I say that here.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love saying it.
What about cheerio? Is that too crazy? I feel like I'm appropriating it.
Yeah, I still feel like saying cheerio over there would be the equivalent of like if you go to a Mexican restaurant and they drop chips and salsa and you say gracias.
Yeah. Question for you. You'd be a great person to ask this question. If you're at a restaurant let's say a Mexican restaurant or an Italian restaurant, do you pronounce the words as an American or do you try to have an accent?
I pronounce the words the way I would if I was just talking to my friend in the living room who is American.
Right.
But if there's a word that I can't think of where I say, if I were to pronounce it tortellini, if I were to say that, I would then say it to them.
Right.
Okay. But I don't say that. But I'm saying there might be something.
What if you were in Italy? Does that change anything? Because you're trying to
I've been in Italy, my friend.
Damn.
I've been to Rome.
Yeah?
And when in Rome, I speak like an American.
Nice.
Thank you. It's good merch.
That was beautiful right there.
Thanks, man.
See that? That was poetry. I don't know what this was, because that ain't that.
I think what you were trying to say is you had something and you brought it to a nice end.
I was trying to make a river, like we were flowing like a river for a second, but then I stopped it, much like I'm doing now. Is your dog okay?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know. It looked like his head was buried behind you.
He's such a sweet boy. I'm going to take this off.
How old is your dog? You want to switch?
Do you mind if we switch again? Yeah, go for it. Thanks.
Let me
Uh-oh.
Alvin, come here.
Nap time.
Alvin, come. Up. Good boy. He has opinions, you know. It's funny that like when he has his blanket, he'll want to sit there. I don't imagine it's that much more comfortable. It's just something he knows.
Maybe the scent?
Maybe. It's fun switching seats.
You always keep it moving.
I sometimes like doing that in like switching positions and like, now it's your podcast, or or like on a date or something. Like
you're on a date and you're switching seats?
Metaphorically, I'm saying. Oh, that's his own camera? He has his own camera? That's cute. Now he thinks you're me again.
Yep.
Finding like games to play when meeting somebody like that, so you could kind of get past the ego a little and be more vulnerable because it's in play. You know, like
silly. Let's make this silly and not so serious.
A lot of the times it's that way, but it's not because of the silly. It's because of it's role playing. You and I are on a date, first date, and I'm not sure how you're feeling, and I'm asking, and you're only telling me what either you're aware of or what you feel safe, and I want to find a way to hack into our second meeting to where you feel more comfortable with me.
Right.
So I'll say something like, will you pretend that it's tomorrow now and I'm a friend of yours and you're telling me how you felt during our date? What would you say?
I love that.
And then it's going to be jokes or silly if they need to, but then that's just the device. That's the syrup for the waffle. And we're, you know?
Are you ever worried about that not going well? And someone's like, I can't, and just not.
Then we won't do it.
Right.
You ask their name. You ask them for a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that play is at least with the way I operate, is the best way to get to know somebody.
I agree. I think that having like you said, having games like that, because everything it becomes white noise. You know, the conversation, I can already predict what kind of conversation I'm going to have on a first date. It's going to be boring. I'm going to ask the same 7 questions, something like that, where you're like, let's do this game, pretend you're doing this or whatever. That's when you can find out stuff about people. It also gives someone the opportunity, if they're funny or if they're witty, to showcase that.
Interesting perspective.
You know,
giving a room for somebody to shine.
Exactly.
It's a good question to ask somebody, where do you feel like you shine? And then try to foster that type of environment. If I were to ask you that, I will. Where do you feel like you shine?
I don't know. That's a tough question, honestly. Where do I feel like I shine?
If you were...
I think, honestly, the answer to that question is in like a one-on-one interaction with somebody, a friend or whoever, and having deep, meaningful conversation. I actually have a very huge interest in that. That's one of my favorite things.
Do you want to get deeper?
Well, it's hard.
Well, do you need me to finish you off? Alvin, up, my friend. Alvin, up. Good boy. Do you get deep on your podcast, or is it mostly play?
It's mostly play.
Yeah.
Piss and shit and boobs and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, but sometimes there are opportunities where it comes up and you can get a serious sort of tone for a sec, but it's tough. I mean, this is also my friend that I've known my entire life.
Sure.
So, you know.
Why do you think your podcast does so well? What are people resonating with?
It's hard because I'm not a consumer of a lot of content in a way. So it's hard for me to answer that question, but what I have seen people say is that it reminds them of their relationship with their friends.
Yes.
So it's sort of nostalgic, I guess, like that for some people.
Do you, when you hear that, is there a competitive part of you that goes, yeah, but you're not as funny as us? Do you ever feel that way?
No. No, I don't feel that way.
So you feel yeah, we're just like them, they're just like us. And when you meet people then, do you feel like they're kind of like you when you meet your fans? Or
do
Frank?
I feel like they're gonna like me?
Kind of like you. Do you feel oh, well, they're like us then?
Ooh. No. I guess I never really thought about that, to be honest with you.
I think about that. When a lot of the people that have been coming to my stand-up shows, I'm like, oh, right, I grew up with you. You know, I was like you, or am like you.
I get that, because I think with you it's also different, because I think that you're like a bull in a china, like you're just like an unstoppable force. That's what it feels like, honestly. Like from the second you walked in here today, it's like go 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 type of thing. You're either into that or you're not into that at all.
Do you still feel that way with my energy right now?
I do. Yeah. I mean, not every second, but I think overall, from what I've gathered, which is not much, but it feels like that.
Understood.
That you're a tone setter. You set
I am
tones.
trying to set a tone for this product. So
Sure.
yes, I do feel, maybe I feel defensive now, but I don't think I do. Maybe I want to just feel understood more. I think that like this and making something is a different, still a part of me.
Yeah.
But it's different than like if we were to just have gotten a meal or something.
That's my point. Is that I think, like, I mean, obviously I don't know that part of you.
But I digress and I interrupted. I'm sorry. We're talking more about the people that you meet who know you.
Right.
I want to hear more about that.
Well, I just don't. I think that someone who's watching something, there is an understanding of like, obviously they're creating a show and it's like this an act in a way. It's not really an act though. Like we're not like faking the things that we're saying or doing any of that. But it's like an exaggerated version. So I think that people maybe blur those lines, maybe on purpose, and think like that's what it's always going to be like if I met these guys. Because a lot of times people will meet me and they say like, "Oh, you're more subdued," and you're more like, and it's like, yeah, I'm not, I'm not doing the show,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Did you say, and you're also just some dude?
What's up?
No, I was making a wordplay joke. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what projecting is, though. People see a sample of something or somebody and just fill in the blanks that, like, oh, this is who that person is.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people, though, because I have been making like content on the internet since like 2011. So there's people who tell me they've been watching since then. So they feel like they have even more of an understanding of who I am, which they probably do, but still nowhere near, anyone who's spent a like even one dinner with me. Like that would feel like a different thing.
That's not true.
I think it's different.
One dinner versus somebody who's been watching you
A
since
long
2011.
dinner.
Okay.
One wedding.
Are you a dinner guy? Do you go out to dinners?
Love dinner. It's probably my favorite setting.
But dinner means out at a restaurant.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be.
I oftentimes my first meal of the day is dinner.
You go the whole day without eating?
And then I eat until I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. Like a bear.
I didn't know that.
Isn't that what hibernation is?
Oh, I don't know. Hibernation is they sleep for a long time.
I actually don't even know if that's true.
That bears hibernate?
No, I know they hibernate, but I thought that hibernation was like they go to sleep and that's it.
They don't wake up for like 8 months?
I legitimately thought that.
Yeah, that might be the case. Or,
I don't think
or it might
is.
be that it's just the winter months. They chill inside more.
That's what I think it actually means, but I don't know. Hibernation is something you hear about when you're in third grade, and I just haven't thought about it since then.
What do bears do when they hibernate? Well, I didn't hear hibernate. I can't even spell it close enough. Hibernate.
I think they just load up and they just chill.
They enter a state of torpor, which I think is when you jump from building to building.
Okay.
Which is different from true hibernation. During this period, their body temperature drops slightly, their heart rate and breathing slow down, kind of like going in a cryo chamber, and their metabolism decreases significantly to conserve energy. Here's what happens while they hibernate. They don't eat, drink, urinate, or defecate. Their bodies recycle waste and water internally.
No way.
Their heart rate drops from 40 to 50 beats per minute to as low as 8 to 10.
What?
They rely on fat stores for energy. I knew that. They wake up occasionally. Unlike animals in deep hibernation, bears can wake up and even move around in their den if needed. So it is closer to what you were thinking and what I was thinking. I was thinking that, I'm like, but I have no idea why. Do they just sleep for 8 months? Females can give birth. Pregnant bears will give birth in the den and nurse their cubs while still in hibernation.
How long is hibernation?
Typically hibernate for several months, depending on the climate and food availability. Some bears in warmer regions may not hibernate at all if food remains accessible. So it seems like it's an evolutionary response to not being able to get enough sustenance during the colder months.
Right.
So you just freeze yourself, and I'll be back during the summer, like what Jews do when they go to Florida. It's like hibernating.
Right. I mean, I don't know that about them, but I assume.
What do you mean them?
Cut that out.
Yeah, how do we get into hibernation in bears?
It's a great question, too. I don't really remember. Do you remember stuff on podcasts when you talk and it's like, I don't even know what just happened?
I remember some things.
Very few. I would say 13%.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe around that. Yeah, but if I'm having a conversation and we're like, oh, right, I remember I talked about this.
But I don't remember what I said. You know, I can recall that, yes, we did talk about hibernation, but...
That's interesting. That's an interesting psychology of the reason to not lie. A reason to not lie. If you don't remember what you said, but you could still tap into your honest point of view, then it'll probably be the same thing. But if you set something up in like a password that you don't remember what it was, now you're shit out of luck.
What's your password?
I have a lot of passwords.
Do you? Are you one of those guys?
Yeah.
Do you like write them down on a piece of paper and you don't even know what it is? 15
I'm not
characters?
telling you.
How many characters? Over 10?
It's a lot of doing this in symbols and capitals and then just memorizing it.
You memorize that?
Some of them.
So it's not words. It's not legible. It's legible. We're talking about text here. But it's like not words.
Not always words.
Numbers?
Sometimes it's how close the letters are to the keyboard, like a design.
I used to do that. I used to do like a shape or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's how when I for phone numbers, the way I used to memorize phone numbers, it wasn't the number, it was the shape it made. And then I got a little bit older and I learned about numbers and that became easier too.
Yeah. Do you have a photographic memory?
I do not.
Damn.
I think my brother does. And I sometimes feel like I can picture what it would be like with certain things for a moment. Like there's something there, but it's not connected. I'm like, oh, I get what that is.
Yeah.
But I do not.
I do and don't. Can that be possible?
I think you're just explaining something that I understand. But no, I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you do and you don't. What is an example of something where you feel like you do?
In high school, in my English class, I don't know why, this is like a very weird way to learn, but they would give us words like a vocab word, but we wouldn't learn the definitions. We would learn the antonyms. And there was a page.
No, I know what antonym is, but for the people at home that don't.
Right.
What is that?
It's the opposite of the word.
Right. The antonym.
Right. Which you knew.
Well, kind of like the difference between the opposite of my dad's sister is my dad's brother, which is the uncledom.
Or your mom's brother.
Yeah.
That's a double antonym now.
Well, that would be an uncledom.
Correct. That was good. But on the page, there would be these antonyms. And it would have the word, and then like next to it would be the antonym of that word. The opposite. We've gone over this.
So
pay attention.
What would be the antonym of telephone? Pager?
I didn't do good in these tests.
Okay.
No,
You
but
do have a photographic memory.
show me a picture of a telephone, I'll tell you. Fax machine.
Okay.
See how that works? So I wouldn't study. So I'd just look at the pages, and then when I'm taking the test, I'd be looking at the page essentially and being like, oh, bottom right, that's where it is, so I could see that word.
Right.
But I don't know where this has existed.
Could you still picture that?
Can I still picture the page?
Can you still picture the page?
No.
Right. So I think you just remembered the page. That's not a photographic memory. I think I have a photographic memory. You know, like I learned to play guitar, and like I remember how to play the song. I'll forget it if I stop playing it.
No, but the way
Well,
no, but the way that, I mean, photographic memory, how long do I have to keep it in my memory for it to be a photographic memory? I don't think that's fair.
have you seen Suits?
No. He
How would
remembers
you
everything?
remember? Yeah, Mike Ross remembers everything.
Forever. Just banked.
Have you seen Limitless?
I have seen that.
How when he takes that pill, he could go back to some textbook that was
He's taken PEDs. He's taken pills. I haven't taken any pills. This is just me, raw.
Mike Ross didn't. He
We
would
don't know.
smoke on the chronic sometimes.
Maybe. You don't know what they were doing between takes?
Shout out to the Sidebar podcast with Sarah Rafferty as well. The Suits podcast. I love Suits.
Do you?
Yeah.
Should I start watching it?
Oh, it's great. I watched it before it was cool.
Right. Because you're cool.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stuff I didn't watch before it was cool. I
Like
didn't see
what?
Sopranos until maybe like 10 years ago, and I've watched it 4 times now.
4?
Love.
I'm currently rewatching that.
great rewatch. I
Honestly.
rewatch it once a year, almost.
Wow.
I think the first time I watched it was maybe 5-6 years ago, so I'm not once a year, but I've watched it 4 or 5 times now. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Love that.
Suits,
Just
The
watched
Office.
Game of Thrones again. Great show.
Great show.
Maybe better the second time.
Oh, there's so much that like you're so confused when it's 1st starting who these characters are, and then you go back even to the pilot and you hear about all the stuff in the tomb and the sisters and all the stuff, and it's like, whoa.
Then you start hearing names from House of the Dragon, and you're like, now I'm connecting shit.
Yes. The dragons that Joffrey shows that are under the thing in season 4, and then they're back there. Yeah.
Love it.
Which, if you had a photographic memory, you would have been able to have known.
I did. I just saw it.
No.
I was doing it in my head.
What I'm saying is, when you watch Game of Thrones,
Right.
and then you watch House of Dragon, you wouldn't have to rewatch Game of Thrones to remember those dragons' names.
If I saw a picture of it, then I would remember.
It's a moving picture. The whole thing is a picture.
Right. I don't know who's right here.
I am. You don't have a photographic memory. Neither of us do.
All right, fine. I'm convinced.
Okay.
You got me. So much conviction. You could convince me of anything. What else do I have?
Alvin, are you interested in this?
I feel like that's rude.
The guy downstairs, I forgot what floor we were on here, and the guy downstairs, I said, excuse me, what floor is, and they go, oh, sorry, because he was asleep. The security guard who was in that,
Was asleep?
in what looks like a bulletproof thing. And then I go, oh, sorry. And then like almost in case anybody in the universe was watching and I needed to validate what I was doing, I was just wondering what WTF was. Do you ever do that? Like you go, excuse me, and then nobody hears you. You go, oh, I was just wondering where the bathroom is. I'll figure it out. Like you say it out loud in case you're in the Truman Show, people know what your motivation was.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
So I did that aside to myself, and then he goes, 4th floor.
Without opening his eyes?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at him, but his eyes were closed
Got
when
it.
I said it. And I'm like, oh. But why
Do you ever think that? Do you ever think that, like, for a second, do you ever have thoughts of, am
Yes.
I in some sort of Truman Show like?
Yes.
I do too.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Well, I used to do that when I was young, before I even really knew what the Truman Show was.
Of course.
Just think,
I
and
think
like,
that's why
what
the
is
Truman Show
that?
resonates with people so much. I
that-
think that's the thing.
But what is that? Is that narcissism or something?
No. It's living in a world. You always are in your world.
Right.
And it's easy to assume that other people are there too sometimes. And
But it feels like I'm thinking about, like, the world is revolving around me. Not that I do that, because I don't think that. But at times when I was younger, I was just like, maybe I was just playing, though. I don't know if I didn't believe
But
that.
you have to have awareness to know that the world is not revolving around you.
Yes.
So when you're not conscious or thinking about that, I think it's a very human thing to believe that, like, oh, this is like, you might even internally, if the world isn't the world, but if the cosmos was just you, your body, the microbiome inside your body, the chemicals in your brain, the synapses going off, these are all words. The thing is, it's like, you have to be aware, like, oh, these are just feelings. This isn't the whole world. Like, even in your own world, you could just be really anxious and upset and hurt. And like, when you're triggered, for example, you're just like, this, you see the world a certain way, and this is what the world is.
Right.
That's why getting out into nature and talking about other people's problems and lives and being stuff, it takes you out of your world. You have to, like, sometimes work to go out of your world. So of course, sometimes you're going to think the world revolves around. I mean, we even thought that the universe revolves around the earth. I mean, until you realize otherwise. So yes, I think that you don't have to worry that you're a narcissist, that sometimes you think that the world revolves around you. I think it's nice to recognize that question, to even be like, oh, wait a minute, it doesn't.
It's less like the world revolves around you, but it's more of like, well, at that time, I think it was just like playing. Like, I imagine there's like scientists like watching me behind a glass or something. There's people behind my mirror in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
So that I just think is like being a child and imagining shit. But
That's also religion, by the way.
what?
Somebody or something is watching me and judging me and making sure I'm doing things a certain way.
Santa
Like,
Claus.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the way people think, like of a higher power of some kind. But yes, Santa Claus does. He keeps a list. And by the way,
Checks it twice.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
He's a
Make sure.
forgetful guy.
I think of it as efficiency, but I understand. Measure
That
twice,
too.
cut once. I don't think that they're a bad carpenter, much like the way I feel about Jesus. Small world.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. I used to when I would drive to high school. There's a.
Oh, you drove to high school?
Oh yeah, you didn't drive to high school? Or you're a New York
I didn't
brat?
have a car.
Got it. Was that a fart?
I think you farted. I think you farted over there.
No.
Someone farted. Wasn't me.
You know what? It was me.
Yeah.
I did it.
Someone did.
When I would drive to school, to go to school, you had to go to this stop sign to get to the circle. But about 500 feet before the stop sign, there was an entrance to a bank. And if you go through that bank, you could go through to the side where you want to, and you could go to school. It was just a shortcut. You're not allowed to do that. I would do it all the time. And when I would do it, I would drive in, and I would park. I wouldn't park, but I would brake, and I would check, and I realized I forgot my ATM card. Fuck. And then I would just drive to school. So if I ever got pulled over, and if I were to say that thing, I would need the cop to have seen my face, because he probably is seeing this to know if it was real or not. And I had to embody this thing and make it true. Just in case somebody's watching.
Right.
I also feel that way about talking about people. You never know if they're listening or if somebody is listening, or more realistically, you might only know part of it and then you'll have a different opinion. So like, I don't talk about other people, and there's a bit of a moral reason to it, but I think originally it was more so like, I don't want to get caught.
So you were scared of people finding out like just talking about people or talking badly about them?
Badly.
Okay. So you don't talk behind people's backs?
My grandma used to say before she passed,
Sorry.
never say last names on a bus. Because if you say, Joe Blow, they know which Joe you're talking about. But you say Joe, they can't know.
Right.
So there's a bit of anonymity. So I was just like, you don't need people. Everyone is watching or listening. Maybe. If I were to do another podcast and you were to leave and somebody else comes in and I was going to say something about you and we're not recording, if I were to say something, I would have to whisper it in case you're here, because you were just here. Your soul might be here for another 20 minutes or something.
The soul? Like that's why?
Not spiritually as much as
so
just like...
it would be less about this person then saying it to another person and then me finding out that you said something negative about me.
It's about you. You're recording me. You're listening to me. When I was a kid, I'm saying when I was younger, I would think that like, because I learned, before I had my own understanding of why you shouldn't be saying bad things about people, I think that like I picked up on that, but it was a more selfish reason.
You just didn't want to get in trouble. So, I mean, at the beginning,
or I didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Right. But that was what I was saying earlier. And you're like, no, I just say the thing.
I'm saying when I was younger,
right.
I didn't know. Now I've checked in with my intentions. And if I'm curious about something, or if I feel a certain way, for example, I think a lot of people will talk shit about people. If they check their intention, the reasons are one of two things. They're feeling less than, and they want to feel better about themselves, and or they have learned to connect with people by talking negatively. A trauma bonding of some kind.
Right.
Both do those two ways. I think if they were conscious of that, they'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't think that's going to sustainably make me feel better about myself. Or I would like to have connections with people that aren't about being negative. I think once you're aware of your intentions, it makes it easier for you to be more to what your moral standard is.
I agree with that. But I think when it comes to the text message thing, which, again, if someone is texting me and I don't know who it is, but they're acting like they know me and I should have their number saved and I don't, then I'm thinking, not that I'm this bad person, but I just don't want them to, create this thing where I don't think that they're important enough to save.
Why are you putting them on them what they're going to create? Let's say the roles were reversed.
Because I'm just saving that interaction with the possibility by just being like, let me try and round about. Like,
but now you're not showing up to them authentically, and you're actually being manipulative and not allowing a connection with this person that might have otherwise flourished. You're being like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take heartburn medication instead of just eat better, even though it's tough to eat better. It's better for everybody.
I don't know that those are the same.
What I'm saying is it's a quick fix that isn't sustainable.
I agree.
Let's say the roles are reversed, okay? And we're texting and I don't have your number saved.
Right.
Okay? we don't talk for 4 months. You text me, and I don't know who it is. And I'm just like playing along until maybe I figure it out or I get caught.
Right.
You might be like, would you be like, why didn't you just ask me?
Absolutely.
Right. So what I'm saying is you could handle it, but you're putting on this other person that they can't. And I don't think that's respectful. I don't think that's considering their feelings. I think that's considering yours and not wanting to feel awkward or not feel like a bad guy. When if you accept who you are as somebody who has a photographic memory but can't remember people's names or numbers, that you're not a bad guy. Just accept who you are. Maybe
just have a bad memory.
Yeah, maybe you just have a selective memory.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think we got to give people the opportunity to feel their feelings without us feeling responsible. Granted, if I insult you in front of people, or if I punch you, or I, don't let you, it's.
But what about white lies? Someone is asking you how they look. You don't think they look good, but you're not going to say that to your friend. You want them to feel good.
Do I think that they're an ugly person, period? Or do I think they look bad in the outfit they're asking me?
They're asking how they look
Give me a lot of details. Give me the setup.
Okay, someone is asking you how they look physically. And to you, physically, they don't look great. But you know that they're just looking for some positive affirmation, which you want to give them because you're their friend.
Great.
So
here's how I handle that.
Okay.
I think if I'm in my... there's circumstances where maybe, now is not the time. They're going on a red carpet. They're going on a date. They're taking a photo shoot. There's something where they need that extra confidence. If there was something that was in their control to fix it, for example, if I didn't think that outfit looked good or something didn't fit good or this needs to be tucked in, or if I had an opinion
but those are little things.
Right. So for example, I will tell you if you have a booger in your nose. But if there's nothing you could do now, I might say, I think I would find something that I think looked nice and say it. And then later I would tell them. But if it wasn't a sense of timing where it was just casual, how do I look? I would be like, I always think that I love you. I think you're an attractive person. I be honest with you, and I probably would have told them this before they even asked me. To be honest with you, you eat. I watch the way you eat, and you aren't exercising. And I think that I want you to be healthier and care a little bit more. I think you're an attractive person. I just don't think that. I think that you could be doing better.
So I think that we're in agreement because I would say that in the right setting. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'm imagining a situation where it's this isn't the right time to say this long. No one's asking hey, what do you think about me as a person?
I've had girlfriends ask if they like if they like the outfit, and a lot of times I do, and I say yes. Sometimes it'd be I don't really like that.
I'll say I don't love this.
I'm also not somebody who's into this type of thing, so you're asking the wrong guy.
Right.
So then, in what situation would I be you look beautiful when I'm lying?
It's not about you look beautiful. It's more of just is there any situations where there is this white lie that can
Bedside
exist?
manner is different than a lie to me.
Yes, I'm using the term white lie because that's the term that people use.
But that's if you made me dinner and I didn't like the food, whatever, just eat the food, have a little white lie, tell me you like it. I would not do that.
No.
And you would eat whatever was dropped to you.
I would.
No, because also now I'm also conditioning this person that I might like this next time. Nip it in the bud. Can I say that?
Nip it in the bud?
Yeah.
In New York, yeah.
Okay.
So if I had you over for dinner and I made you something and I was I'm a really good cook and I blah blah blah, and this is our first time meeting, and I make you something I'm super excited about. You see it on my face, and you could and you'll just be I honestly I don't like it.
I'm not going to eat something I don't want to eat.
Okay.
No.
I think that's a cool thing.
Then
has that ever gotten you into? Because I wouldn't do that. I would be it's delicious. Thank you.
Before you made me dinner, I would be intentional. I would say, what are you making?
Right.
I would make sure it's something I eat.
Sure. I mean, it's something that you would eat.
Great. And then it's bad. I don't want this.
Okay. So then what? So then you would be well, I'm just gonna order food or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel bad doing that. I wouldn't do it. And I don't think it's about I'm conditioning them that next time.
Let's reverse the roles.
Okay.
Let's reverse the roles, or keep that role. Let's say I'm the one who doesn't want to eat the food.
Yeah.
And you made me the dinner, and you would feel bad doing what I just said. Now
Wait, sorry. One more time.
So if I made you dinner and you didn't like it, you would eat it because you would feel bad telling me otherwise.
It would have to be I can't eat it.
Right.
For me to say something. Or like a very distinct reason why of like, oh, it's really like fishy or something like that. Then I would make a comment like that. But if it was just like off or I didn't love it, I thought it was kind of bland, I would let that go.
Here's how I would do it exactly like this. You made me this coffee.
Yeah.
And I wanted coffee.
Right.
I should have said something. It's a little sweet, and I don't like a sweet coffee, and that's on me for next time. I do want to get caffeine. I'm going to get something else. I'm so sorry I had you make this for me. I don't like that.
It's great.
And you see what I'm doing with my face? I'm going like this.
I know. And that is...
Bad posture.
That's empathy right there. Mm-hmm. Crawling back into the... Got it.
But I still said... So that's not a white lie, but it's having some bedside manner.
Yeah. Do you think there's something wrong with me lying? Not lying. Is it lying? Or is it just trying
It's
to
lying.
like...
It's lying.
It's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's something wrong with that.
I mean, listen, to answer you legally, is there something wrong with it? That's up to you. If it services you and you want to keep doing that, then do it.
Yeah.
That's not how I handle things. That's not how I want to be received.
Can I say something? I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm getting a lot from this right now.
Yeah?
I think this is a very productive conversation for me.
You love a deep
maybe I don't even
conversation.
realize how often I do that.
And that's the thesis statement. Checking in with our intentions. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. Know why you're doing something. If you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And you're okay with the answer, then do it. Mm-hmm. Because everyone's moral compass is different. Again, that's what I was saying about being a good guy. It's like, listen, live your life, do what you want to do, ask for what you want. Just don't take from other people if they're not willing and wanting. So like, I feel that way even as a comedian, and I interrupt a lot. I talk a bunch. I try and do it less. In fact, I do, and it's still a lot. But like, I want to show up as I am, doing the jokes that I do. But I also am aware of like, sometimes that could cannibalize somebody else's space. And I might be encroaching in your space to shine. But then I also think listen, find your moments. But that's where like collaboration is and compatibility. And there are some people that like, they really shine when there's an opening, but they don't know how to create their opening. Is it my responsibility to create openings for you? No, but if I'm not going to offer that space, maybe we shouldn't work together. Mm-hmm. So if I want to work with you, and I think that's where proper compromise is. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the caffeine really hits me when I take a sip, like even that comedy sip. I'm like fucking jacked up right now.
Nice.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I want to do whatever I want. I want to eat whatever I want. I want to be around who I want to be around. More specifically, I don't want to be around who I don't want to be around. I don't want to have to wear certain clothes to a certain thing. But there are some times, if you're not going to wear those clothes, then just don't go.
Right.
And then there's times if you don't go, then you're not showing up for somebody who needs you. So that's where you meet people for their needs. And I think that friendships and relationships work for the two main things that help foster those things from happening are convenience. Like a lot of times, like you're friends with the people you work with because you work with them. And then when you stop working with them, you don't see them as much. Mm-hmm. Or they live in Brooklyn, one lives in Manhattan. You don't see each other as much as you would. And the other thing is, could you show up as you are, and could they show up as they are? And even if it's two very different people, does it not cannibalize each other's things? And those are people you want to be around. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So if you like lying, then lie.
That's not how you're going to put a bow on this conversation. This is put a bow on it, okay? If you love to be a liar, then lie.
My mom loves lying.
Does she?
My mom, I can't go to dinner with my brother because I have a show, or I don't want to. I'm tired, whatever it is. And my mom wants me to go meet up with my brother. Well, tell him that you have to work early in the morning. Why? It's just nicer. But it's not nicer. That's not why.
See, I wouldn't do that. I'm with you there. Especially if it's with people that... So I'm assuming the answer, but like, let's do it with comedy, right? Someone who's like new to comedy, who's doing stand-up, they've been doing it for less than a year. So they're going up and you're there. They come off stage. Two people tell them, good job. Then they ask you, how'd I do? And you don't think it went well. How would you say that?
So here's the thing. Here's where being honest and being honest more often opens up the doors and allows you to see more colors. Mm-hmm. I know what they're asking me. they're not asking me, am I good, yes or no? They're asking me for reassurance and or some constructive criticism, something to learn.
That's my point. Some people are asking because they want your answer, but other people are asking because they just want you to say yes.
Even in conversations with people, you get it's really nice tool to ask people like, hey, like a lot of times people will try and fix somebody when they're venting. They'll try to, well, have you tried calling, did you try looking online first or whatever? And sometimes a person just wants to vent. I've heard different people say this and I love it. And I do this too. I'm like, are you looking to vent or do you want to hear my opinion?
Okay.
Ask them. They might say, I just want to know how it was. I don't really want to hear anything else. Then I know, okay, they're looking for reassurance. How do I reassure them honestly? If I've seen them before, I'm like, I like that you're still doing the blah, blah, blah bit. You haven't found it yet. Keep doing it because it's like, that is a really funny premise. Give them the truth. But you don't have to be like, oh, it's so funny.
Right.
It could be, that's a really good premise. It's not there. Don't stop doing it.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
right? I feel like it almost feels like I want to play this game. Like, find me a situation where you can't do that.
See, I feel like I need to hear this because I do think that sometimes I do exactly what you said before, where you're like, you're not letting someone, I forgot the correct wording, but I'm assuming something.
You're
about
not
people.
choosing for them what they need to hear.
Exactly. So I'm assuming because either I know this person or I've seen how they've interacted to either criticism or any information that's similar to the one that I'm about to give them, that they're not going to take this well, and they're not even trying to get constructive criticism at the moment. So I'm just going to be very vague and say, yeah, cool. Like, good job.
I see the efficiency in that.
It's not about efficiency. It's just like, what you're describing, I think, is like I would say 90% of the time that's how I am, is like that, because I think that a lot of people, I think that people need to hear criticism or whatever, and I'm extremely open to that. Like I want it, Don't be too mean. I'm joking, but I think that there are some people that aren't looking for that.
So here's another perspective. People need to hear that, or people aren't looking for that. That's what you're saying. That's still making it about them. What I'm saying is, from a place of being authentic for you, show up the way you want to. And if you want to lie or white lie or do a thing, or just be like, yeah, it was great because you don't want to have to deal with them saying whatever, then do that. But if the reason you're not doing it is because of something you're putting on them, like if you want to say the truth, but you're afraid, already check in why you're afraid. You might be like, hey, if the waiter comes over and says, how was the coffee and it was too sweet, I might just be like, it was good, because what I'm wanting from this interaction is just, it doesn't matter. There's nothing I want from this person. I want to end it. So my intention for lying is really just the efficiency. I just want to close it because I don't need them to apologize or get me a new drink or whatever.
Right.
But so like sometimes it makes sense, but that's because what I want from this interaction is to end it. So that's why I'm doing it. If what I want to tell them something, but I don't know if they could handle it, that's where I won't make that decision for them.
See, that's a good way of kind of putting it too. I think it's more, there's definitely times where I do it because I think I'm big stretch.
So cute, dude. Holy shit. It looked like he was flying through the air.
When dogs stretch, it's my favorite thing in the world. But there are times where I definitely, I guess, put it on someone else, being like, I'm just going to be nice because either I don't want to hurt their feelings or, whatever. But those are all assumptions, like you're saying, where I'm assuming they're going to be offended by that or they're going to be upset by that. It's just like, whatever, like I'm just going to be nice. I'm doing them a favor. Whoa, big hero over here. But so there's definitely that. But a lot of the time, it is what you're describing, where it's like, I don't even, like, this will go on for too long and I'm not even going to get anything out of this, so I'm just going to get out.
But you might get a little practice. That's one.
Yeah.
Because in those situations, stakes are low. So it's easier and you get good at it. And then when it's somebody that you might not see again, it doesn't matter as much. But when it's somebody that you're either already close with or might get close with or might be working with, whatever it might be, all of those micro conversations calibrate the dynamic between the two of you. It's why I think that like you hear women talk about faking an orgasm, and it's like they don't want to deal with it. It's like, well, then there's a reason why the next woman this guy has sex with, he didn't learn. He's bad at sex now. That's not this woman's fault, and she doesn't have to take on that responsibility of teaching men sex
in a relationship.
But if it's you,
right,
don't you want your partner to be better? So I also think if it gets to a point where you're afraid of telling somebody how you feel because of how they might respond, are you projecting that? And or have you had enough experiences of this person to be that way? And if so, what you might not be realizing is the reason you're afraid to show up the way you want is because you have some resentment of how this person responds to things. At that point, it's not just about being honest about how sweet the coffee is. It's about being honest of when you tell someone, hey, how's the coffee? Before I answer, there's been something that's been on my mind and I just want to talk about it. And do you have space to talk about something that's a little vulnerable for a few minutes?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The truth is the coffee, I'm sure I don't like sweet coffee. I'm feeling myself being scared of telling you this because there's been times in the past where I've said stuff and I think I hurt your feelings. I'm not sure. And I don't know how to navigate this with you. And I want to maybe find some type of a shorthand where I could like be able to tell you the truth, but you also to be able to feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like saying those types of things.
Yeah, but that feels like a ton.
But if the relationship is worth it,
I agree.
You don't have to keep having it.
So I won't do that to relationships that I deem worth it. This is more so with kind of like touch and go types of things. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the people who I'm closest to where I'm not doing this. Like I don't shut up about like my feelings. Like I said earlier, like one of my favorite things is being at a restaurant, an intimate setting, and having those kind of conversations about life and this and that, whatever. I enjoy that a lot. So I will do that in those relationships. But there are definitely times where I feel like I am making assumptions about how this person's going to handle this information. So I'm going to make the decision for them to be like, it was good. I definitely do that.
I watch my mom. My mom is such a schmooze, so good. It's all schmoozing, like authentic schmoozing, not just like bullshitting salesperson. She just connects with people. She's so sweet. She's funny. She also really sets boundaries and is very direct. And I saw her. I've seen this numerous times, but the earliest I can remember is we were at a coffee place. I was a kid, I think. Maybe it doesn't matter. And I think it was a coffee place. It was a barista or somebody behind a counter at a thing, and my mom asked for something, and the person seemed annoyed. And my mom said, "I'm sorry, I can't tell. Are you annoyed with something that I just did?" And I've now used that. And when that happens, because I don't know, are you annoyed with something I just did, or are you in a mood? And if you're in a mood, okay, if it's something that I just did, what just happened? I genuinely want to know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
And maybe it's I asked too many questions, maybe it's something else. But typically when you ask them, they don't realize they were that way. And they will then, oh, I'm sorry, it's just this. Or they do realize and be like, yeah, you just keep asking for blah, 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 blah. And then you have like it or not, you're having a connected conversation. That's what they should be. But I learned that like when you ask people like, are you upset? They'd be like, oh, sorry. Just even calling out. So when you're feeling something, I just think it's valuable. I'm feeling something just happened with the energy between me and this person. I could ignore it. I am a curious person.
Do you think that there are people who would find that off-putting?
Yes.
And how does that play into this?
Then they will find it off-putting.
Right.
I'm checking in with my intentions. I ask because I'm curious. We're having an exchange. I am part of this. I have a right to ask. You have a right to not answer. I'm not going to be like, no, fucking tell me.
Right.
They'll be like, I'm just blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, okay, this person's overwhelmed and or whatever. But yeah, but everybody is not for everybody. And you're not going to be in the same frequency as everybody else. And I used to get very insecure. I came into some self-awareness about 8 years ago, and I started realizing I'm annoying. I bother people. I do jokes that I shouldn't be doing. I may have said something that was offensive. This person might not have known I was joking. They might have known I was joking and didn't care. Something happened with Wolf, who's our producer now. The other day, I had Mark Norman on, and I was doing a joke with him. It ended up being a race thing. Nothing that I thought was too much, but our producer is a black man. I had him come in for something, and I still don't know if everything was fine, I think, right? What was the jokes that happened at the Mark Norman thing? Do you even feel comfortable answering me now? Oh, yeah. You want to sit in for a sec? You want to be part of this conversation for a second? No. I still don't know. I made a joke. I'm like, oh, he doesn't know me or my intentions.
Yeah.
Years ago, I would be spinning about, oh no, I made a mistake. I did something bad. There was a misunderstanding.
That doesn't matter at all to you, though?
Of course it matters.
Right.
But I also know it'll happen again. I am going to
Sure, but you don't want to rectify that?
I did as best as I could have. And coincidentally, we're talking about this thing that happened a few days ago. So, but he's not on mic. And at the end of the day, what are we going to have a conversation now off mic?
Right.
And I asked if he wanted to sit down. He didn't. A younger me would have been like, come on, because I wanted it. An older me realizes, oh, he doesn't want that. So leave it alone. And that's fine.
Right.
I don't know how he feels. Maybe after this, we'll have another conversation. And I hope everything's okay. But like, I know why I made a joke. I know I'm going to miss sometimes. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But it's not going to keep me from trying it again. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let how other people feel dictate how I behave unless I agree with how they feel.
Let me
finish this one statement real quick. And the only way to agree with how they feel is to ask questions and to find out, oh, that makes sense. Now, next time I'll learn, to dip my toe in first or to do it this way or to not do it this way. Mm-hmm. But the only way you find that way is by asking people how they feel. And most times people will not tell you how they feel, even if you ask them.
Okay, so perfect point that you're saying that. So for me, if I am seeing how other people react to certain things, right? Because in a friend group, like I grew up in Queens, 15 kids. There are kids that you can make fun of, and there's kids that you can't.
Right.
Some people can take a joke, some people can't take a joke.
Yep.
So I'm treating these people slightly differently. Even when a joke could come up that I can make about this person, but I know it's going to upset them in a way, so I'm just not going to do it.
Great.
But it's similar in, I guess criticism is the example that we're going with. But with criticism or something like that, I've seen how this person reacts to this sort of thing. There are some people that welcome criticism and will want to hear it and be like, okay, I can use that. And
right.
okay, cool. And they're ready for it. They're listening like this,
Yes.
But there's other people that are kind of coming to you like, how did I do? And they're not looking for the same thing. So I'm not going to give them that, even though I have that in me to say here's some criticism that could be useful. If I've seen them interact with criticism before.
But what you're saying and what I'm saying are not different.
That's what I mean.
Right.
So that's why when we were describing this white lie or whatever, the thing that I was describing, it's sort of based around the same principle.
But if somebody can't take criticism, keeps asking me how they did, I'm going to say, hey, listen, it's hard for me to tell you this kind of stuff because whenever I do, it seems like there's a bit of a disconnect between us.
I agree. An isolated incident, though.
Yes. It feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, you are qualifying that you do this. And it seems that we're more having a conversation of what a white lie is as opposed to just the kind of the tools in the tool bag. So I hear you that you do that and I believe you. Mm-hmm. The bigger picture of why I'm still liking this conversation, and it's not specific toward you, is just the idea of it's exhausting to have to show up differently for different people. And sometimes you have to do it. It's a wedding, it's a first date, it's a job interview, whatever it is. But make sure you know why you're doing that. Mm-hmm. So you don't go too far into being manipulative versus showing who you really are. But you don't have to show all your colors. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be crass. You don't have to tell your opinions. You don't have to solicit. But I don't want to mask. I don't want to pretend unless we're doing jokes. Mm-hmm. I either want to do jokes or I want to be very, very direct.
Agreed.
And a lot of people don't love being so silly and don't love being so direct. They live in that other space, and we might have to cohabitate there. But if we do, you're gonna need to make some compromises with me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I also find that when you tell people a white lie, they're gonna be more willing to tell you one back. And I know that I'm always very curious. Are you being serious with what you're telling me? The situation with our producer. I don't know what he feels versus what he feels comfortable telling me. Mm-hmm. and I might never know unless you really get to know that person. So the best I could do is be as direct as possible, so maybe another person could feel the same way back.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, pardon me. Like I said, I'm talking the caffeine hit.
No, no, it's good. No, I do. Because I find it interesting, and like I said, I think I got a lot from this conversation, and I think that obviously it starts to sound like we're agreeing with each other and saying the same things because there's nuance.
Each other's sentences. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nuance. There is nuance.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Dude, I'm sorry for hijacking the last 45 minutes of this.
No, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed our conversation.
So what got you into comedy?
You fart again?
Yes. I'm the type of guy that will, if I will take the fart.
You'll take it.
That's where I'll lie.
I'll take the fart 40% of the time.
You're in a lot of situations where you need to take the fart. Who are you with that's so embarrassed about farting?
I didn't say it happened 40 times. I'm saying 40% of the time.
Right.
It could have been twice.
Got it. So you've only been around people who have farted a few times. This is where I get a little tied up when people are making jokes, but logically it doesn't make sense to me. Even though I know they're joking, I'm like, well, that's not possible because you farted more than that.
Well, that's the joke.
Funny.
Funny.
So you're fixing up your studio?
Yeah.
You got a big new place?
Huh?
I say this because I was going to come on your podcast.
You were going to come on my podcast.
And now are you upgrading?
Yeah, I just got into this new space, so we were building shit
Got
there.
it. The stuff I've been seeing online. I thought that was something you were doing in London, and now I'm realizing no. You were just talking about London, but this space, it's a big space.
It's a big space.
Why so big?
I mean, it was like within the. Well, I wanted to build like actual sets for stuff, and we were in a very small spot. It was like 1,300 square feet. And now this one is much bigger than that, just so we could build like actual sets for things.
So you're doing, it's not just your podcast set.
No, it's like 2 podcasts, but we also do like video content on YouTube, like weekly also.
Oh, I forgot to ask, how much money do you make a year?
Throw a number, I'll say higher or lower.
I'm talking gross, that you walk away with after you give your 25% away. Before taxes, before expenses.
Gross. You want to know the gross?
I'm saying before, but what is deposited into your bank account before you pay taxes and your write-offs? Not before, after expenses. Beta, what is it? I forget what the acronym is. But basically, at the how much money? I'm going to guess a number that is deposited into your bank account after you've paid your commissions, after you've paid your yeah, that's going to be tough then because your expenses, it's tough to say. Yeah, I guess what did you declare in 2024, I'm going to guess? After expenses, before taxes.
Right.
1.8 million.
Correct. Nailed it.
Exactly?
Exactly.
More or less?
Exactly.
Promise?
More or less 1.8.
Close to that?
I guess.
Is it under 1 million or is it above 3 million?
It's above 1 million.
Is it above 3 million?
I don't know.
We're not talking about white women that you've been with here. We're talking about white men that you have on dollar bills. Yeah, I think 1.8 is a good guess. Maybe 2.4 then. Good for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And all you're getting your dad is a mug.
He gets other stuff. I bought him an RV once.
Why aren't you close with him?
He lives in North Carolina. I mean, I still talk to him. What is that close? We don't go for coffee dates. Big stretch. Crazy.
Dude, I talked a lot, man. I'm sorry.
Are you close with your parents?
Very.
Very close.
Yeah.
Every day?
You know,
who's your best friend?
My mom.
Your mom's your best friend?
Maybe my dad too. They're both up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You talked to them about everything?
Yeah.
Sex?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like when having a conversation, like if I'm having a conversation, like I'm having, like I'm out of a relationship and talking about certain things and certain things about this and this, like if it's like, it wouldn't be like the way we had sex, but like talking about like the intimate connect. Like I've been with somebody who's like I didn't enjoy having sex with.
I meant that in a way of like, did you tell your parents when you lost your virginity? Like, did they?
They were
know?
there.
They were there. Was it? It wasn't. They weren't.
No, they weren't there.
Okay.
I don't think I told them that. No. But as I gotten older, it's like, you know, it'll be questions of like, oh, I met somebody and like, are you guys having sex? I guess. No, I don't really say that either. I don't know. Maybe not, but it doesn't feel like anything is censored. I just don't think that it's not relevant. If it's not relevant, we don't talk about it. There was a relationship that I was in for a bit and I did not enjoy sleeping with my partner. And there was something where I did talk to my mom about how like, I just really like, I don't know why I'm not wanting to be intimate during, like there was a certain part. And she goes, yeah, well, that's very telling. You know, it was just like that.
That's cool. I think that means like you're very close with your parents to have that kind of conversation with them.
But like if there's ever a joke that my parents are making and they make a joke about sex or something, I can't.
You don't like it?
I can't.
If they talk about having sex with each other, then you're like, all right.
Just any jokes about it. Or like sometimes when my dad will be talking about someone and mentioning a family member or a friend of like my mom's when they were younger and like, oh, you know, she used to fuck, blah, 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 blah. I go, no.
Why is that?
Because we're just talking about the sex life of parents and I just can't
do it.
Get into it. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm blurring dicks. I'm getting fucked. I'm fucking all the time in the pod.
You're pissing your coffee. Who's the smartest person you know?
Maybe my brother.
Okay. Why is he the smartest person?
He's smart. I think he's got a photographic memory, well, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's how...
He's a Jeopardy champion.
Is he a Jeopardy champion?
Yeah. He just knows... If there's something I don't know...
He knows it.
He knows it. He would be my guy I would call. What's that?
I knew that.
Yeah.
That he knew it.
Yeah.
So where do I rank on this?
I don't know. I don't look at people and think about that kind of stuff, really. Because even now when you're saying smart, there's so many different versions, but I'm thinking like who has the information. Like what Arby's does, but with meats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, they have that.
Arby's, we have the meats.
So. But yeah, I mean, smart. What's smart, man? If you laugh at things that are funny, I think you're smart. Maybe that's my ego being like, oh, they must be stupid if they don't think I'm funny.
All right.
But I'm not talking specifically about me.
Yeah.
Like when I date, I really want the person I typically date funny women.
Okay.
If they're not necessarily funny, are we laughing at the same stuff?
Do you think that that's actually a good indicator though? Because I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a good indicator for compatibility, not
like
for intelligence.
If you have a good sense of humor, then
I think it means that.
But what's a good sense of humor? That's your opinion.
Of course, that's why I said compatibility.
Got it.
It's not right or wrong. It's just where do we fit?
So then, where does intelligence come to that? You think that someone's intelligent because they have the same...
That's another thing. That's why I say I don't really think of it as intelligent. What's smart, what's not, other than do they know a lot, do they have the meats? Like, can I go to them and ask what the capital of this state is and how do you spell this word?
Yeah.
But like, otherwise, it's really, to me, it just feels like a frequency thing. It's not you're smarter. Like sometimes people will comment like on my podcast something negative and then someone will be like, oh, you're stupid. You don't get it. It flew over your head. And then some people will say stuff, oh, people just, and I don't, thanks for getting my back. I don't think that they don't necessarily get it. Maybe they don't. But if so, it's not because I'm smarter. It's because the way I see the world is so different from them. They're maybe not willing to question things. I do think there's something about people who are not willing to question why. Do I get it and I don't like it, or do I not get it and I think I do? You know what I mean?
I don't get it.
Perfect. And you didn't pretend that you did. There are times where somebody doesn't get a joke, and if they got it, they would think it's funny. Mm-hmm. Then there's times where somebody gets the joke and they just don't think it's funny. That doesn't mean they're stupid.
I agree.
Anyway, dude, I keep saying I'm talking too much, and then you ask me something and I'm talking more.
I enjoy it.
I love talking.
I can't tell.
You burned me.
Absolutely murdered you just now.
If I ever come on your podcast...
This would be very difficult to do with 3 people.
Yeah. With another person, it's easier for me to be in the audience at times.
Okay.
Like when you guys are doing your thing, like I just did Are You Garbage? And I talked a lot. But like I love listening to them talk to each other. They're so good together.
Yeah, they're great.
You know? So like watching your guys' thing, I would watch and then I would maybe want to chime in as opposed to being part the whole time.
Gotcha.
But I also, the reason I brought it up is there's a world where I would get in the way of what your format is and you might not be able to post it.
I don't think so. Like, I think that, like, and that's the thing, we don't really do guests that often either, because I also think that what we're doing is not compatible with everyone in the world.
Sure.
You know, because it's
You're making 1.8 to 2.4. You're doing well.
right, and we don't, you know, it could be double, it could be triple, we don't know. You know, we're just not sure. We don't know.
Is it above 3?
I don't know.
After expenses?
But who's to say? Who knows?
Yeah. Were you doing a lot of live shows last year, like you are now?
We did like 25.
Yeah, splitting a lot of costs. I'd be surprised if it's above 3 after expenses, but it might be. The way you just said what you said is making me feel like it's above 3 because it could be double, but who knows?
It could be.
You're wanting me to know without having to be the person to say it.
Or am I lying? See, I already told you earlier that I was a liar.
But that would be a green lie.
Right, which is not an expression.
Lying about the green? Money?
Touché. It's a good point. What were you talking about?
This is why I don't drink coffee anymore.
I feel like you do drink coffee
I don't.
pretty often.
That's a chai latte.
Huh.
Caffeine.
Wait, is there caffeine in it?
Yeah. Way less, but is it?
Why, you
Sounds
drink
a little
coffee
too sweet
and
for me.
it just goes.
I talk so much and then I get so anxious.
What about like a Red Bull? You ever fire one of those?
No. You know what I do? Magic Mind.
Yeah, but is there caffeine in that?
There's caffeine in it.
Really?
There's matcha and there's caffeine. And I met Magic Mind from sponsoring my podcast. And then
I used to crush those.
Because they sponsored you?
Yeah.
And now I take them almost before every podcast. I love them.
They taste really good too.
They taste good. I keep them cold.
You got to keep them cold.
Plug out the Magic Mind.
Yeah, this is crazy now.
Yeah.
This is like a free little thing for them. But got to keep them cold. I would refuse to drink it at room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Picky about that.
I've had a room temperature because I didn't have a cold one. I prefer a cold.
Yeah.
Do you feel a little more confident
In what?
when you have a Magic Mind? Feel a little more
Little
awake?
bit. A little confident. Little sharper.
You ever get a come down?
Do I ever get a who?
A come down for Magic Mind? Once you get off your Magic Mind, are you thinking,
No.
It's not it doesn't bring you up as high, but wherever it brings you, it keeps you there.
It's nice and it's exactly even keeled. Now I'm doing a double. You
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
You see this? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I think it's great.
Never seen something like this before.
I dated a girl with really big boobs, and that's how I would play with them.
Like this.
Really long nipples, excuse me.
Right.
I would go like this, but this way.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I would pull them, and I would go like this. And
What
I
was
would
her name?
Sarah Totenbaum.
With an H? Or no H?
With an H.
Got it.
Yeah.
At the beginning or the end?
Beginning.
Jewish then.
Very. She had long nipples.
Is that a thing?
Unrelated. I'm just reminding you of who we were talking about.
I'm on top of it.
I was too.
Good for you. On the bottom of it too? I don't know how you get down.
No, never with her. Only missionary.
Only missionary.
Yeah, because when she was on top, her nipples would get in my nose.
Gets dangerous, yes.
That's where the saying comes from. Don't get your nipples in my nose.
Oh, that's where that expression comes from.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's why I say it. When I
I've
would
heard
say
you
it to
say
her.
it numerous times.
Yeah, it's really like I find myself in a position where I'm a little uncomfortable. It's like, listen, I just don't want to get these nipples in my nose. Why don't you just lay on your back?
Do you worry that people don't understand what you're talking about? Like they don't get that expression? Because it's not a popular one. I mean, I've heard it.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say don't get your nipples in my nose?
He says no.
He's shaking his head yes. No, he said no.
I've heard of it. I have a photographic memory.
Oh, really? What's my name?
Rick.
What's my last name?
G. Glassman.
Okay.
Glassman.
Yep.
What's Rick short for?
Richard.
Is it?
Yeah, and at camp, kids used to call me Dick Lissman.
That's good.
Never bothered me because I thought, like, I get it.
Dicklessman.
Yeah, but they wouldn't call me Dick Lissman. They'd call me Dick Lissman.
That's even better somehow.
Oh, what's up, Dick Lissman? Like Dick, I would have like, oh, not much. I'm just, like I didn't know where we were going. Yeah.
Did you go by Dick?
No, but you can't control what other people call you. And that's why you never say last names on a bus. So you're not part of the problem.
That's called full circle, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like this. You know?
There's something I actually want to, before I forget, I
Oh,
want to
no.
tell you, and I have it written down.
This should be good.
Do you like coffee?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a little bit of a come down from it, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Kind of like after you make love to a woman and she stands up really fast. Get 20% off Magic Mind at magicmind.com/TYSO and use promo code TYSO20. That's 20% off by going to magicmind.com/TYSO and use promo code TYSO20. Magic Mind, it gives you a little bit of a boost without the come down. How do you feel about coming on this podcast?
Like, how did I feel or how do I feel right now?
How do you feel now?
I feel
How did
good
you
now.
feel?
I didn't know what to expect. I knew that it was going to be kind of like, all over the place maybe a little bit.
Sure.
But that was kind of exciting. But I think that's why it would work. That's why I was like, I want to have Rick Glassman on our podcast. Because I think that
I said it at the beginning, and then we didn't talk about you at all. So please come back on again. Will you come back on again? I want to make the sound when you're in LA. All right, good. But Theo Von and you and your guys, Theo's podcast and your podcast.
all right. You're going to piss a lot of people off saying that.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying I'm telling you when I see a Theo clip or yours, I'll probably watch it because it's probably going to make me laugh.
That is a massive compliment.
I don't think that you guys are similar.
Right.
I'm just saying that like you guys have fun clips. I don't know if you guys make them or other people do because I follow your account on TikTok and Instagram, but also maybe other people unless you guys post compilations. But sometimes it's a clip and then sometimes it's just like beats of just you do those.
Yeah,
you guys
people just make those.
And they're just good, man. So
thanks, man.
I know it's just been me talking, but if you watch my podcast, you know that's how it always is. Check out the basement yard.
Yes.
Why the basement yard? Because I used to think backyard because that makes sense, but I know it's basement.
So when I was younger, I created this podcast when I was living at home, and my room was
you're
in
the main
basement.
guy. Frank is just the talent.
But I was living at home in my basement, and I was thinking of what to call it. And my mom gave me the name because she was like, when you were a baby and I didn't let you guys go in the front yard, you would ask to go into the basement yard. So I was like, that's a great name.
Yeah.
So that's why it's named that.
And you could find it on all audio streaming platforms?
All audio streaming platforms that I'm aware of.
Do you like people watching on YouTube or do you not care if it's audio only? Because I prefer people to watch this.
No, yeah. I think that people probably get a better... I think it's funnier if you watch it.
A lot of facial expressions for you guys. A lot of this. You do this a lot.
A little quirky, like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Or Jim from The Office? That little bit into the camera?
Yeah, I see the other one you doing a lot more.
Which one? Yeah, that.
And you can't believe what Frank just said, and you have opinions, and we're going to hear them. Clip it, and I'm going to laugh.
Honestly...
He plays submissive in a very confident way as well. Like, it's a good dynamic between you two.
He plays submissive in a very confident way?
Because he'll fight back, but be beaten up.
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole thing.
You're the abusive husband.
Right. But I didn't create that.
I think that's the dynamic that you guys have.
No, I didn't create that.
Oh, so Frank's more than just the talent then. He's helped create it. What's the percentage split?
Shit. That was good.
Isn't Alvin cute?
Yeah, he wants to bite me. I like his little teeth. How old is this dog?
About a year and 9 months.
Really?
8 months, but by the time this comes out.
Oh, that's cute.
Anything else you want to plug? Your Instagram, spell it out.
Instagram, good luck with the spelling. JoeSantagato. On everything.
On everything.
On everything.
It
In the
sounds like you're
basement
not
yard.
lying.
Huh?
I'm telling you, my name
Oh,
is not
God.
Rick, it's Richard. On everything.
On everything, I swear to God.
Yeah.
It's Joe Santagato on everything, and the Basement Yard is a podcast that you guys check out.
And your tour, where do people find that if they're interested in hearing you talk?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in me talking, but you guys can go to thebasementyard.com. If any shows are popping up, then they'll be posted there.
Nice.
But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Ricky's on the Loose tour. Go to punchup.live/Rick Glassman to find out what I'll be in your city. If you'd like, you could even sign up for an email list so I can notify you when I add new cities. Check out the Take Your Shoes Off podcast on YouTube and all audio streaming platforms on everything. My name's Rick Glassman, and as I end all my episodes, I end all my episodes because otherwise it's just going to keep going. So good night. Theme music. I think we're done.
Theme music.
Yeah, this is... There's 20 seconds, so like we can hear us underneath it now, so we can just keep so. But there's a cool. It's a Sleepover Series. So it's an 8-bit version of my song, and it's cool. And you can see like here's an episode that it's going to suggest. There's 2 episodes it's going to suggest. So is there anything else you want to say? You have about 4 more seconds.
Absolutely not.
All right. 2, 1.
Blast off.